In the last class, we are discussing about the type of the design of experiments, different methods. And in that case, we are discussing. Please mute your microphone. Or let me do this. So we are discussing the one factorial method. In that case, we are going to change the only one factor at a time, not all the factors, and see the effect of that factor, right? Like let's say here, through one example, let's say we see consider example of the BPO. BPO is the business process overseas or something, when basically related to the call centers or like that one. And operation manager want to know the productivity in terms of some measured value, like how many transactions happen at that day by his team. And if he's going to extract the information about whether the transaction at every day is same, okay, right, or transaction at what happened, what class overlapping, I don't know. Let me check message. It's not action with we have a class, it is overlapped. I don't know about the another class. This class is already scheduled, you know that. Each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is the 10. If you are scheduling another class for another course, please keep in the mind. Or you should have to inform me earlier, not after the start of the class. Who is this person? Senbeto. Okay. So let's come back to this. So this is the data transaction per day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. For the 1 week, let's say there is a 5 working day. On each day, number of transactions is happening like this one. And we have the data from the some weeks, let's say 8 or 9 weeks data. And on basis of this data, we want to test the hypothesis. Already you are very well aware of the hypothesis. Hypothesis is some sort of the smart guess or a statement. And here, what is the hypothesis? The assumption is that productivity is same on the every weekday. Like whatever the productivity, or you can say transaction per day, number of transaction per day, on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all are equal. Okay. And there will be, in the case of that alternate hypothesis, will be when this hypothesis is going to be rejected, that means anywhere if one day data is not equal to other day, at least 1 weekday is not same, productivity or number of transactions of the 1 weekday is not same, then we can reject this null hypothesis, right? And for that we do the some sort of the analysis. In this case, when we have only one factor, right? Here only one factor we have, that is transactions. So in that case, we apply the one factorial method, right? And we use the some sort of the software tools. Okay, this is a very simple problem. You can go with the manual calculation also, that will be not a problem. But when you are going to analyze the various factors, having the lot of the data and like that one, manually doing will take a lot of time consuming will be. So what we do, we go for some sort of the IT tools, or you can say software tools, take the help of that. What that how that software tools are going to help us? They are going to help us in terms of the saving our time and making the calculation part, visualization part, inference part, whatever information you want to extract from the data easy, right? If you have the someone to do the calculation for you, don't need to do that. Is the manual one. In calculation, we don't want to prove our intelligence or the knowledge level, right? Huh. After that, how to extract the information from that calculation? There you are supposed to apply your mind. So here it is given that what you have to do, you have to open the mini tab, go to stat, okay, go to stat, go to ANOVA, go to one way, interfactors, interresponse, right? How we are going to do? Let me give a small demo of this one. Let me share the screen. Okay, this is the screen. Minimize this one. I'm coming back to the my screen. I have the mini tab here. Okay, you can open the mini tab. Are you able to see this screen?
Yes.
Okay, so open the mini tab, and here you can go for, let's say, you can see, go to stat. Stat, there should be at the top level, there should be, let me put it here. Yeah, this is the stat tab. Here there are so many tools. Go for the DOE, right? Go for the DOE. If that is saying no, this is go for ANOVA. Okay, so for this analysis, we go for the ANOVA and we go for the one way because there is only one. Yes, any question? Okay, so let me put it here. Okay, 5 people are waiting. Let me go. So here, from here, I can select the what is the response, what is the factor, right? In this case, let's say I have to open a, let's say I have to first open a data set in which already I have the some data. So let me open an example. Okay. So here these are the factors because we want to check where the number of transaction or productivity on the each day is same or not. And these are the response variables, how many transactions happen, right? And we have the data for the some weeks. Total how many data we have? We have 45. That means 9 weeks. As we are considering the working days as the 5 days per week, right? And these are the number of transactions. Okay. So as per this, we can go for the one way ANOVA, right? So here from the stat we go for the ANOVA, select the one way. There are so many ways of ANOVA. Here response is number of transaction and factor is days. Already that taken, right? If you want to change from here, you can click and you can change it, no problem. Just whatever you click it, that will come here. Our response is number of transactions, so we are taking that one. Okay. And after that, you are going to get this result. Okay. One way ANOVA result will be this one. When here you can take the some sort of the, let's say, confidence level you have defined. Okay. 95% generally we keep the confidence level. In the last class, yesterday class, I have explained about the confidence level. Let's say for a particular event, you are going to make a guess, or you want to say something about the some in terms of some statement like, because all things are based upon the statistics and the probability theory. This all calculation, all things, etc. So probability will be there, and you know that in the real life, probability of the anything is not equal to 1. Nothing is certain, right? We don't have the certainty about anything. You can't be certain about anything. You can say that over 99% chance will be there. More certain you can be 0.01%. There should be some left the chance. So whatever model, whatever experiment, whatever factors will be there, there should be some uncertainty. And for that, we take the help of the confidence level. 95 confidence level means out of the 100 times, whatever proposition, whatever statement you are going to make, that should be true. You are confident about this one, okay? 95% time that should be true, okay? And why this happens, let me explain with some real, okay, let us, do you know the normal distribution? Anyone? When you are going to arranging the data, that follows some distribution, some mathematical distribution. That may be the distribution, may be the exponential, Poisson's, normal, whatever so may be, right? And there is a beautiful theorem in the statistics that says whatever form of the data or distribution of the data may be, when we are going to combine that data, taking the combination of some data, that combination will always follow the normal distribution. So what is the normal distribution? If you are able to see this, see here, normal distribution is a bell-like shape, and that is extended from minus infinity to plus infinity. In mean, there is the middle value. This is known as the mean, and this is the dispersion. There you are going to plot the data. Okay, this is the data points, all the data. So near to the mean, there should be lot of frequency. You can say here the variable x you are plotting, and along the y-axis there is a frequency, like in the histogram. So most of time we take the help of this normal distribution. There are a lot of the application of this one. This solve a lot of the problem. Any kind of distribution can be converted to the normal distribution by taking the sum of the data, and that makes our problem very much simple. So if you know only the normal distribution, we can do the wonder in terms of the research or whatever that may be. Like in the case of the quality control, other things, generally what you do, this is the mean value, I maintain the process at the plus minus 3 sigma. This is the minus 3 sigma, this is the plus 3 sigma. So you may maintain the process at the mu plus minus 3 sigma value, and that gives the 99.71% of product within this area is 99.71% of the total area under the curve. Now, if you want to be certain, 100% certain, you have to go for the minus infinity to plus infinity. So you can't be 100% certain about anything. That was the meaning I want to convey there, okay? If required explanation of this concept, we'll discuss it. in the later classes. Okay, coming back to the our screen. Okay, so here we have the some options, 95% confidence level or like that one. Okay, comparison, what kind of the comparison process you are going to take. There are different methods available. For the details, you have to go through the books. Okay, generally the Tukey method is applied. Okay, take it. You want the graphs, interval plot, you plot, or what kind of graph you want to have. You can select from here. Here, results, in what results you want, method, factor information, analysis of variance, model simply means, that can be. Whenever you're going to click the OK button, that will give the full analysis. Here, what is the method? Null hypothesis. Default, the null hypothesis in the one way, ANOVA is that all means are equals. Right? That means mean of the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all are equals. Mean value of the transactions. And that take the alternate hypothesis, not all means are equals. And that we are doing in the case of here. Okay. Here hypothesis we have taken, you can remember the assumption is the productivity is same on the every day. That is the same, that mean productivity. Okay. And this is the null hypothesis. And this is the productivity on at least one weekday is not the same. This is the alternative hypothesis. So the same thing we are doing with the help of this. And further you can see this result. Let's say here factors are days. No? Levels 5, Tuesday, Monday. Factor is the day. These are the 5 levels. 1, 2. Because one factor we have only the days. Okay. Degree of freedom generally happens to be number of factor minus 1. Okay. So degree of freedom 4, and here we are going to p value, here we are going to f value and the p value. P value is correlated to this significance value. Significance value is just opposite of the, what you can say, 1 minus confidence level, 1 minus 0.95. 95 is the confidence level. Represent that in the fraction. Okay. So 0.95 is the confidence level. If I'm going to get the significance level, that should be 1 minus confidence, that is 0.05. Okay. So from here you get the p value and other value. What is the CI value, pairwise comparison, grouping, right? These are the different plots, etc., etc. All the information is given. You perform the one-way ANOVA. Now you have these results. Interpretation of this result is the most important part. How we are going to interpret, how we are going to read, and what information are going to extract. If you go through some basic statistics or ANOVA document, you'll find that this p-value should be less than significance value for acceptance of our null hypothesis, right? If this is greater than that, based on some statistical calculation, right? That you have to see that one. Okay. So we look for our interested value and see whether we have to accept that relationship or statement or not, right? So this is the one way on ANOVA. In this, if I'm going to design some sort of the experiments, right? Let me close this one. We are not going in such a detail to discuss. Okay. Let's say if you are going to design some experiment, how to design using the Minitab. Go for the screening factorial response mixture Taguchi. Let's say I'm going to design a Taguchi method or factorial or whatever. In that case, factorial, you click, that will give the option. Yeah, software will give the option like two level factors means all the factors having the two levels only. That means we have the linear relationship between the factors and the response. Two level split plot or Lekert-Berman or like that one. Number of factors two or like that one. Right? This is for the more factors. Factor up to the 47. General full factor design. Okay. Here from here you can select the number of factors. How many factors you want to include. Let's say I go for the 8 factor. Then if you put here, that will show the design. How many designs will be available there? What kind of design you can go for a feasible design. Okay. This is about the full factorial. If I go for the some other, let's say Taguchi. Okay. Create Taguchi design. Okay. Now, if you have the 3 level designs, means factors have the 3 levels or 4 levels, 4 different value of a factor can be possible. Or you can go for the mixed level. Some factors have the 3 level, some factors have the 4 level, some factors have the 5 level, like that one. In that case, we can go for this. Let's say I'm going for the 4 level design. This is applicable for the 2 to 5 factors, right? So this is the type of design. If you don't want to go from here, you just go for here, and you can see the what kind of the designs available there. L4, that means 4 number of runs, 4 experiments, is available for the 2 levels. If the factor are at the 2 levels and there is only 2 to 3 factors, then we can apply the L4. L4 represents the orthogonal array having the 4 experiments, right? Let me show you. 2 factor, okay, and number of factor 2 level, okay. If 2 factor, I'm going to select, please specify the design. L4, okay, and your design will be something like this. Factor A, factor B, okay, 2 factors. Factor A at the level 1, factor B at the level 1. Factor A at the level 1, factor B at the level 2. Factor A at the level 2, factor B at the level 1. And factor A at the level 2, factor B at the level 2. We have to perform this experiment, and here we can have the response. Find out what is the response in this case, and finally we do the analysis of this one. Okay, so this way you can design your experiments depending upon the what kind of experiment you are going to perform, right? So there are so many tools available here in the design of them. There is screening, factorial, response surface, mixture, Taguchi. That depends upon the what kind of problem, how you want to solve, right? And you can analyze, define whatever. So a small or some exposure to the Minitab of this software, and also the basic concept of the Taguchi and the other things will help you a lot in conduct of your experiment analysis and coming with the good results. Last time, one of my students have done this kind of work here, and he also got the excellent one. He's the only one got the excellent grade in the master thesis. So let me give an overview of that project. Let me. So let me show you that kind of how to. Okay, are you able to see this thesis?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, that was not the single objective, but the multi-objective optimization of the EDM parameters for the Inconel 718 using the Taguchi method. Taguchi method is the one kind of the design of experiment method we use. And if you see, the basic design methodology he has followed. So design variables is at the 25. Okay, let's say go to the 25 page. Machining parameters process. Yeah. Let me actual size. Yeah. This is the process parameter he has considered for the EDM machining. And there is a multi-objective optimization, means he was trying to optimize not only one response but different kind of the response at the same time. He controlled the control parameters he have taken: gap voltage, pulse current, pulse duration, and dielectric pressure. These are the 4 parameters. Okay, and he was trying to optimize the material removal rate and the electrode wear rate. Material removal rate should be more. You know that EDM is such kind of machining where material removal is very slow. So maximization of the material removal rate was the one objective. And same time, electrode wear rate. Electrode means the copper electrode he was using. There should be different electrode also. Wearing of the electrode should be minimum. And these two conflicting objective have to be optimized at the same time, right? So this is the levels. Gap voltage has the 3 levels: 40, 50, 60 in volts. Pulse current has the 3 levels. Here consider 3 levels. There may be more, but there is no linear relationship. So he went for the 3 levels. Pulse duration 6, 8, and 10 microseconds. Dielectric pressure this one. Besides that, there may be the different control parameters also, like type of the dielectric may be others. He didn't consider. Each study has some limitation. Type of electrode may be the another variable. He didn't consider in this study. So depending upon your objective, you are supposed to find out what to consider, what to not. And in that case, he has used the L9 orthogonal array. Okay. Here you can say there is a total 9 run only, and this experiment repeated 3 times. That means by performing only 27 experiment, you can have the enough data to make the some results or inference out of that one. Okay, so here there is only 9 experiment he has to perform, not all the combination, right? And at each run, what should be the expected value of the input parameters is defined. Okay, and then he proceed with this one and some results, right? Like here, I already told you this is the collected data. This is the run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the, I already told that there should be some repetition of the experiment, first, second, and third repetition, right? And this is the value of our response, MRR, material removal rate. So in the first, that is the 0.5. In the second run, this is the second replication, that is the 0.5. In the third, there is 0.4. And we take the mean value to remove any kind of biasness or whatever that may be, right? For like this whole table represents the MRR calculation for the 27 experiments, 9 design, and this 9 has to be repeated 3 times, right? So here is the MRR value. Similar way, he calculated the EWR value, electrode wear rate. So this is the only data. After that, your work start for the analysis. After that, you are going to analyze and come with the some calculation, like you are using the SNR, so signal noise ratio, combining these all, and finally you can have the some relationship. Okay, so this way we are going to have the our projects. Let's say these all graphs are from the Minitabs main effect plot, right? On which MRR. You can say the effect of the gap voltage is that when gap voltage is going to increase, MRR is going to increase. Pulse current going to increase, MRR going to increase. Pulse duration, first MRR increasing and finally that is decreasing. Right? Dielectric pressure, when you're going to increase the dielectric pressure, MRR is going to decrease. So these are the main effect of the different input variables. Okay, so this way we have to find out. Also, you can find out the using the ANOVA. You can find out the contribution of the each input. Like gap voltage is able to contribute for the 9.5% of the total effect. Major contribution you are going to get in this case is the dielectric pressure, and these all can be possible through the ANOVA analysis you are going to perform once you have the data. And for the each and every case, there should be different analysis because your input is different, data is different. Yeah, process will be same, no problem. Right? So those who are going to conduct or do the experimental things, okay, they should they should consider reading of the some good books. Already I've given the some books on the design of experiments. Also try to understand the some softwares like Minitab, etc., how to operate. You can take up the help of the some of the tutorials available on the YouTube or on the site of the Minitab, etc. Okay, no problem. So this is the p value. Basically, we are interested in this value. Okay. For the our this analysis case, we started using the Minitab, and on the basis of that, we can make a statement that whether the each day mean is equal or not. Okay, so this is about the 101. Now another method is the full factorial. Full factorial experiment looks completely at all the factors included in experimentation. This is the time consuming. Already I told that you are going to have the all the experiments, all the combination, whatever combination possible, that is considered in the full factorial. So this already we have discussed in the previous class. And let's this is a simple example here. We have the two factors and they are the two levels. Okay, and here is the some response, one response or like that one. So there may be two levels, one high and one low. So high level we are going to define as the +1 and low level we are going to define as the -1. So this can be the possible combination, 2 to power 2. Total number of experiment can be 4, right? If there is a 2 factor and 2 levels. And this run can be named as the 1, 2, 3, 4. At the first run, both A and B are positive. In the second, keep A positive, B negative. In third, A negative, Negative means at the low value and B at the positive one. Okay. And same way analyze the response, whatever response you are going to get. Let's say we have some hypothetical response here, 33, 52, and see how that is going to change. Now coming to how to analyze the effect. So this is run and we have the response here. Okay. So how to find the main effect of A? That is the mean response at the plus level. Mean response at this level. What is the mean? 30 plus 50 divided by 2, 40. This is the mean response at the plus level of A. Okay. Minus mean response at the minus level. Minus level, the response is 10 plus 20, 30 divided by 2, 15. So difference between, so main effect of A is 25. At the plus level, the mean response is 40, and at minus level, mean response is 15. So difference between these two levels is what? 25. Similar way, the main effect of B can be calculated. This is the calculation part, and this is reflected in the terms of the graph. Okay, main response. So similar way, for the main effect of B, we can go for the positive and positive. 30 plus 10, 40 by 2, mean value is the 20, and here minus and minus value is the 50 plus 20, 30, 70, and divided by 2, as you are testing the mean value, that should be 35. So minus, so there is a negative effect. Okay, mean effect. So this way we calculate the main effect. For the other effects, okay, we have less than 1 minute time right now, so we'll discuss in the next class about the next concept, how to calculate the interaction effect and like that. So you know how to calculate the main effect of the factors. Okay, any question you want to ask?